In today's video, a great training split and a great approach to dieting so you can get started on your muscle building journey. Hey guys, what's going on? This is Paul Ravella from ProPhysique.com, and today's video is for you beginners. For those of you that haven't really gotten started on your muscle building journey, and I'm kind of making this video to send to myself, to send to my 15, 16-year-old self when I was just getting started in the gym. You see, when I got started, there wasn't this thing called the internet. That's right. The year was like 1989. I know, scary, right? But what we did have back then was information in books and in magazines. But what I'd like to do is give you guys some free resources to just get you started. And today's video topic actually comes from an Instagram direct message. So if you'd like to send me a message on my Instagram direct message, here it is on the screen, you can do that. And if you like this type of information around an evidence-based approach to putting on muscle, losing body fat, having the physique of your dreams, hit subscribe. It's what I love to do here. So let me read the question, and then we're gonna get into it. Hey, Coach Paul, I just started watching your channel a week ago, and I decided to give it a shot and write you something. I'm David, I'm 16 years old with 2 years of training. I wanted to ask your opinion on two things. The first one is on the push-pull legs training split, and the second one, what are some foods that I can incorporate to my diet to help me hit my protein goals, in my case, around 120 to 140 grams of protein a day? Well, let's start with the training. I think this is probably the thing I made the biggest mistakes on when I was young, is kind of plan hopping. I would do something for 4 weeks and then just hop off and do something else. And the reason being is, I would get the monthly subscription to a magazine, and I would get the Ronnie Coleman Massive Arms program, and then next month I would get the Jay Cutler Massive Chest program and the Massive Legs program, and I would kind of hop from program to program. They weren't programs that were going to have long-term success, right? They were kind of tons of volume. At that time, I didn't really understand the impact that steroids had on training, but I just would go in and just crush my body for 3-4 weeks at a time. And then I would honestly just get so run down, I would kind of have to back off a little bit, maybe even skip some training sessions. But what I really found value in was just being consistent in the gym and finding what works. And it wasn't until years later that I actually started to understand periodization. And so what I'd like to do is give you guys a free resource. So I put together a free beginner's guide to training, some nutrition tips, even things on like how to find a gym, how to flexible diet, what you should be eating, just like your question, on some great protein sources. So I'm going to put the link below for the free beginner's guide to training. We're actually working on a follow-up to that for a more immediate version, also free. The goal there is actually, I was writing this to my 16, 15-year-old self. Now, you said you've been training for 2 years. That's fantastic. That means you've probably got some solid exercise experience. You know how movements work. You know how you're hitting your muscles. So now's the time to really take advantage of this. So let's talk about a push-pull legs split. I love this training split for many reasons. Most of all is that when you're getting into training, especially early on, you don't need so much training volume for a single body part that it warrants going to the gym just for biceps, right? However, if you're going to the gym and you're going to do a pull day, which would include biceps, you're also going to be hitting some other body parts, such as bigger body parts like back. So when you train the back, you're going to involve the biceps in the majority of the movements. Now, you can try to minimize that by, using some cues like pulling from the elbows, and you do want to minimize bicep involvement, but it's always going to be there. So it's always a great way to finish a back day with some bicep stuff. And if on a pull day you want to include some trap work, great. That's kind of my go-to when I'm doing a push-pull leg split, is my back day has my traps and some biceps in there. That way you get a really good session. You've got a significant amount of time spent in the gym, and then all those body parts can recover when you go onto your leg day. And this is really the thing that I didn't understand early on. I would train body parts 3, sometimes 4 days a week because I just loved the feeling of training them. But when you start to actually periodize your training, such as a push-pull leg split, you can start to see how each time through you can do a little bit more weight. This is really how we can progress. It's not just crushing our workouts. It's actually giving us plenty of time to recover so that the next time we get in the gym, we're gonna feel better. So, push-pull legs, rest, that's something that I've been doing for many years. I'll alternate it depending on where I'm at in my training cycles. And sometimes I'll even throw in like an arm day all by itself. just because you're not gonna get as great a tricep or a bicep workout if you're doing them as accessory workout at the end of a really hard push day or pull day. They're gonna be already fatigued. You'll actually go into the gym on a bicep day and you'll start doing some curls and you'll be like, man, I didn't realize how much stronger I can be. So it can be really good to include an arm day. Something that I used to do would be like push, pull, legs, rest, push, pull, legs, arms, just so I would actually get a day for my arms to grow, because at 6'3", they needed a lot of extra work, a lot of extra attention. So yeah, and that's worked. I'm very happy with how my arms have progressed over the years, but that's really the value in doing these workouts, is that you start to pay attention to how you're responding, how you look, how you feel. Journaling would be a great way to do this too. If you can look from week to week what you're doing, it's going to really allow you. Now, the free program I wrote kind of also helps you with exercise selection, because you don't want to be doing the same exact exercise. You don't want to do flat bench with a flat dumbbell bench with a flat machine press, right? You want to, let's say on a chest day or a push day, you want to be making sure you're hitting the chest from multiple angles. Flies, you want to be doing declines, inclines, things like this that allow you to get multiple angles, because our muscle insertions are from many different places, and especially with the back, you need to do varying kind of changes to your direction that you're pulling, vertical versus horizontal, wide versus narrow. And this is something that I love to do, is alternate that. Now, the next question you asked was about protein. And I think when it comes to protein sources, the first thing you got to ask is, are you vegan, vegetarian? Because if you're not, then we can just look at the basics like lean meats. I'm a big fan in deli meats. Like, I'm not someone that's going to be prepping food all the time year round. I'm definitely good at it when I'm in prep. But when I'm not, I love to go get some deli meats. Your turkeys, your chickens are very lean. And if you want to save some money, you can buy some food. If you guys would like a meal prep video, that's something I've never done on this channel, but it's something I've thought about. Comment below if you would like a meal prep video. What I'll do is I'll cook quite a few chicken breasts and I'll store them in the fridge, or I'll pre-weigh them out and put them in Tupperwares to take with me. Chicken breast is something that, it's pretty easy. I like to soak mine in Dale's, cook it on the grill, and it's good for quite a few days. And then you've got food on the go, okay? Other sources, your red meats, gets a little bit tougher, but you can get some lean ground beefs. You can also get some ground turkey. Egg whites and eggs are also wonderful sources. And then I used to do whey protein when I was younger. I then had an issue with dairy, so I couldn't do whey protein, which was super annoying because it's such an easy source of protein. Whey protein, if you can digest it well, phenomenal, right? It's low in fat, low in carb, high in protein. It comes from milk. It's a great source. However, if you have issues with dairy, which a lot of people do, I actually came out with my own line of vegan protein powder through Core Nutritionals. Took me a little while to convince Doug to make it, but now that it's out, it's crushing it. And it's something that I really love. And I've actually been having 2 vegan shakes a day, just because the macros and the taste are so great, and it's just easy for me to just wake up, have a shake, and go sometimes. And same thing before bed. Don't always want to prepare food. So finding sources of protein that are going to be easy for you, things like beef jerky or things that I travel with. If you can find some, ready to drink protein drinks that you like, those are great to have. Protein is probably the one that you have to spend the most time in prep and storage. So if you can find some things like protein powders, beef jerky, and ready to drink drinks, and maybe even some protein bars that you digest well and you feel good with, well, that's going to be a great way for you to get that in without having to think so much and put so much effort in. All right, guys, remember, free program below if that is something you're interested in. Check it out. And as always, guys, I'll talk to you tomorrow.